Hello and welcome to another update video about Cardano and Bitcoin. In this video I want to really make people aware of, in which situation we actually are, because people need to understand that we really are at a tipping point. We really are at a key tipping point that will determine where the crypto market will be heading in the next few weeks and months, and from here really for the next few weeks and months, certainly. And if we are going to see, for example, 100k Bitcoin, or if we are going to see maybe a 30k Bitcoin, okay? So this is really an absolute tipping point at which we are. And I want to start with Bitcoin and then take a look at Cardano. So obviously after that sell-off that we had, we came to critical support levels. And I really want to start with some on-chain indicators for Bitcoin, or just some general Bitcoin indicators that you can find on lookintobitcoin.com. So a lot of these actually suggest also that we are at a key tipping point. So the first one I really want to start with, and I'll keep it brief, is that Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve. You can see where we are now. Typically, when you are above that middle line, this orange middle line, it suggests that you have the potential to do a big run all the way up to the top, and you then potentially get a blow off top and crazy prices like it would be like 150k Bitcoin. At the moment, however, it looks like that we are dropping below this middle line. And if we zoom in, you can see actually that we have just dropped below it. And that isn't great, because this line also acts as support and resistance level. Okay, so if you can see that here before, throughout August, we were below it. And this line acted as resistance very clearly. Now we broke through it, and then we had a bit of support here, but we broke back below. That will make it harder for Bitcoin to continue its way to the upside. And if I zoom in further, you can see that we've actually dropped below it. That is not great. That's the first thing. That is not very good, but it shows that we are at this tipping point here, that middle line. And maybe we can reclaim it. Maybe it's a fake out. I hope so. But people need to understand that we are really at this tipping point here. Now, the next one is the advanced NVT signal. I won't go into detail here, but typically what it means is that if you break below this green line down here, or you come very close, you are oversold. That would indicate that we actually can expect in the next few days, maybe also next couple of weeks, a counter signal indicating that we could come up once more, or that we could come up because we are so far oversold. So typically when you're down here, you can see that you can actually overshoot or drop below that green line. It can happen. So indicating there could be a little bit of a more downside potential before we then recover. But it indicates that we are really at this low point here, from which on we always saw big pumps afterwards. So, or not big pumps, but generally a counter move that pushes the price up. So that is quite positive to see that we're in this range, but it indicates as well, or it can be that we also drop a little bit more before we then see that counter move. But generally you can see whenever you come close to this green line, after that you see these counter moves to the upside. So that is quite positive, I think. And then the last one as well, which is quite similar, is that active address sentiment indicator. I talked about that indicator before. And also here you can see that we are, if I zoom in, just at this lower band. And again, it indicates that we are oversold. And this is historically actually a good time to buy. Bitcoin, for example, but generally, of course, affects the entire market. So we are down here now, and also can expect a potential counter move after this. But again, we can drop a little bit more. As you can see here, we did that before. We dropped a little bit out of this lower band, and then we popped back in, and actually did oftentimes move back beyond and above, So I think these two that I just showed you actually speak more for a positive reaction of the price, because we are here oversold, and also here we are about to drop out of this lower band. Now the logarithmic growth curve indicator actually shows, well, we've dropped below a key support line here, which isn't that good. And again, this just shows we are at a key tipping point. Also on the Bitcoin chart, you can see that we are in a, and the bullish scenario here very clearly is that we are in a wave 4, in a wave 4 correction. Now, the wave 4 typically only retraces to the 0.382 fib level here that was at around 57k. Now, there are instances where you can retrace to the 0.5, which is 53,800 roughly, okay? Very rarely, only very, very rarely, and it's very untypical, you would drop below that 0.5 fib level. Now we did briefly drop below it, and this is a warning signal for me. There is for me one last support level that we just need to hold. Other than that, I will be quite confident, and I don't like that to be that, but I will be quite confident that we can actually expect a bear market. And I try to be very clear, I try to warn you as well. And I try to be clear here and don't want to talk about up or down, you know, but there are two clear scenarios, and you can only, when you do chart analysis, there are only always various scenarios with different probabilities, but an analysis can help you understand, you know, what is going to happen when we cross certain boundaries, barriers. And here for Bitcoin, this is for me the 53k level. And I talk about that, actually it's a bit higher, but I would say because this previous high here in September, this is pretty much at that level, it is the 53k level. So I talk about, you know, we're pretty much in a support zone here now, because we dropped below the 0.5 fib level. Now, okay, we reclaimed that above 53.9, but if you drop below that, you at least still have the 111-day moving average here sitting there, which will be helpful. On the other hand, what you get here is that previous high. Now, if you lose that, we can expect prices below 50k, I'm quite certain. From there on, at some point, then you will probably have here then something like a B in total, yeah, coming down in a wave A, coming down, have another counter move. That would be something possibly, you know, where you can, where people think, all right, we're going to go back up, but that might actually then just be a wave B before you then drop into a wave C further down into the ranges of maybe the mid 40Ks, yeah, or even lower. Just really want to pre-warn you that this is my key level, and because we don't really see a clear signal at the moment which way it's going. It's really that key tipping point, and it doesn't look too good at the moment. You know, the chart doesn't look too good for me, because we dropped below key fib levels, yeah, and we should have really held that 0.5. Even though we dropped below it slightly, we should have really held it. Now we didn't hold it, dropped below it. There's still that last key level of support, but overall it is a concerning situation. I want to make that clear here, and that will have an impact on all the other TAs that I do and all the other cryptos, yeah, or maybe not all of them, maybe some will really hold, you know, like the gaming ones, but still it is a concerning situation. Just want to make you aware of it, right? I'm not panicking at all, but people need to be informed, and you can make your own decisions. Okay, so that's what I think. Just need to wait here. If this level is going to hold, I think then, yeah, then we can see 70k, 80k, and then we can have a crazy run to the upside, in my view. But if we drop below that level, I think that will hammer it down, to be honest. And I also say that because if we just look at the monthly Bitcoin chart, I think I did show it a few times before, but here on the monthly Bitcoin, if you look at the MACD, if we could hold it so far. First of all, the MACD is at a quite high level. Now it's really as high as it's never been before, okay? That is a bit concerning anyway, because if that then comes down, there is a lot of potential to come down quite a lot, okay? And this is the monthly one, so it has quite an impact. As soon as you see a bearish cross here on the MACD monthly, that will be significant. It can really hammer it down then. So I don't really want to draw a dark picture here, but I think it's important. Also on the weekly, you can see that if we have a bearish cross here, that won't be positive, and it's currently losing steam. I don't want to draw a negative picture here, but I need to, and I see that sort of as my part of my work here, to make people aware of what can happen. You know, there's so many people talking about 150, 200, 250k, where people just go in like, you know, always buying the dip. And to be honest, I buy the dip because the dollar cost average in, but I put most of that stuff in my long-term hodl portfolio. I'm not worried. I like to invest. I believe in this long term. But if people really put their money in there and think about short-term gains, it is critical at the moment. It's a key area. I did expect we would hold that yellow box. We didn't really. We dropped below it. Yes, we have reclaimed it now, and it just shows that there is uncertainty in the market. But there are these two clear scenarios. This is the cutting line. I tell you that. This is the cutting line. And then also for Cardano, this will of course also impact Cardano, right? I do expect still, if that bullish scenario plays out, of course, that we're going to reverse from here and then see that move up. And Cardano is looking good from the chart generally. Yeah, it is massively oversold here on the chart. We've even on the daily now come into the oversold range. So Cardano is actually in a completely different area than Bitcoin, and people need to understand that Cardano is already, it has not participated at all in this bull run. So, well, it did in August, yeah, but not in the September, October moves to the upside. Cardano hasn't participated, which puts Cardano in a completely different position, and Cardano is already oversold. There is not much more potential for Cardano to drop too much. At least that's what I think, right? So I would be confident that we can still hold this level, especially if Bitcoin is turning around to the upside and this bullish scenario plays out. Now, if the Bitcoin bearish scenario plays out, yeah, we can obviously drop further, but I think we will have very, very strong support here because it has dropped already so much. But to be honest, if Bitcoin really gets into a bear market, we all have a much bigger problem, because I don't think anybody, or you will not hear many people talking about a bear market. And even I think, I am critical generally, you know, and you know that. I've been talking, even when we came up here on Bitcoin, we came up here, I said, I absolutely don't like this structure. This doesn't look bullish to me. You know, this strange structure down here. This is not something where you build a new impulsive wave on. But, you know, we made new highs, and to be fair, we made new all-time highs, but nevertheless, it still concerns me, and to this day, and from my experience, this doesn't look good. And even though it was back in September, no, sorry, this was back in, oh no, I'm actually not meaning this, well, this year's as well, but especially this one here, and we can have to see it on the daily, sorry. This was here back in, here, in September. This was not a clean move from which you move on. These 99% retracements and so on, I still don't like them, and this is nothing where you build a sustainable move to the upside on, in my view. And you can see that we were starting to roll over here, so hopefully this is really just really maxed out what the wave 4 retracement can do. Hopefully it is just that, and from here we can get a strong counter move. I definitely hope that, and that will hopefully help Cardano as well. But Cardano is massively oversold, honestly. Here on the daily, the MACD is still continuing to go down, so I don't see this at the moment. We still don't see here a bullish move. We also don't see a bullish move on the Bitcoin chart. I just tell you as it is, and but I just want to communicate that Cardano is in a completely different situation than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is so high, also on the monthly, so much overbought, where Cardano, if we go to the monthly, I think I have never done that really, you can see how Cardano is not overbought at all. You know, we've dropped quite a lot on the monthly. I mean, we were here until actually the end of September. I think we were in the overbought territory on the monthly. Now we've finally come out of the overbought range, which again puts us actually in not a bad position, because from here we can reverse and we have scope to the upside on the monthly, which is great. The weekly dropped below the 50 line. Yeah, didn't find support here in the bullish 50 line. So yeah, it's mixed signals at the moment, but still this is for the wave within which Cardano currently is. I would still expect that turnaround here, and it's going to be, in the next few weeks, will be very decisive. So two clear scenarios here for Bitcoin, and it will determine the outcome for the other cryptos as well. What Cardano will do if Bitcoin really drops hard, it will be very interesting to see. I think there might then, if we really enter a bear market, it will be very hard to say what Cardano does. I'm very honest with you. I can't tell you. I think I would be very surprised if we drop it again below $1. Yeah, I would be very surprised. I don't think we would, honestly. I don't think we would. I think we would hold this scenario here and maybe even drop to $1 and then go up. But that would be the bearish scenario for me. I'd be very surprised if we drop below $1. In the bullish scenario, of course, when Bitcoin finally decides to move up and holds that level that I've talked about, the 53.5k, then Cardano, I think we'll have the situation that we had back here in July, where we finally go up. Bitcoin is really hammering it down at the moment, and we really maxed out here on the Bitcoin chart what that retracement could do. For Cardano, there's still a little bit more space to the 125 level, and theoretically still to $1, but honestly that would be not very good to come down to that $1 level again, even though theoretically possible. As I talked about in the previous video, that wave 2 within which we currently are it is also always the hardest, strongest retracement, because this is very early in a trend, in an uptrend. It's still very early. You know, we are here, we came down back in May and had a very strong move to the upside, now a very strong move down, because it is just what the Elliott Waves tell us. You know, you have the wave 2 is retracing quite a lot. It's early in a trend. People don't really know, is it really an uptrend or what? Whereas you always want to get in as soon as you see the wave 3 pick up, which is going to happen. So yeah, it's very exciting, and honestly, it's very exciting to watch, but also a bit concerning, given that we're at this key decision point currently for Bitcoin. So yeah, I try to really put the voice out here that really makes people aware, not to spread fear or FUD or anything, but really just to say what I say in the charts. Be a bit critical, yeah, with all the voices that talk about 100k Bitcoin. I would love to see it. I think we'd all love to see it, but it's important to be aware if this bearish scenario plays out, then I think for the next few months we're not going to see the 100k, and we all need to be aware of that. But nevertheless, we're going to get through this together, and we're going to continue to make content, of course, and we will find new ways of dealing with this. So hopefully you liked that update video about Cardano and Bitcoin. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.